Hey guys, welcome back to Amanda's Favorites. Today I have the Hobonichi Cousin and the JIBUN Techo, and we're going to compare the two and show them both to you. Now I do have a whole separate video on my Hobonichi store haul, which has the Cousin in it and which walks you through the Cousin and kind of how I'm using it now. And I do not have a whole separate video on the JIBUN Techo yet. I don't know if I'm going to get one of those up, like a complete, really detailed walkthrough of just the JIBUN Techo. We'll see. But if I don't, we're going to do a pretty good walkthrough of it today. So the JIBUN is a Japanese planner also, so is the Hobonichi Cousin. The JIBUN is only a week. It's a weekly book, so you only have monthly and weekly layouts. The Cousin from Hobonichi, you have daily, weekly, and monthly layouts. So it's not really comparing apples to apples, but their weekly layouts are very similar, and many people try to choose between these two planners. The JIBUN does not have a daily book, but Hobonichi has this book, and then they also have a smaller A6 daily only. But this is the Hobonichi that can compare to the JIBUN Techo because this has a weekly view that is similar to this one. This one is an A5 size though, and this one is a B6 Slim, but the JIBUN does come in an A5 size. One of the great places to look for this is the Jetpens store. I'm not really familiar. I'm familiar with the Hobonichi site, and I ordered from there, and I have that haul video that I will link down in the description below, but I'm not familiar with the site to buy from Japan, the JIBUN Techo. I do know they're on Jetpens, and I'm sorry, you guys, that's all I know. A sweet subscriber actually sent me this book this year because she wasn't going to use it, and she emailed and asked if I would like it to review or use, and I was really excited to get it in my hands. She was so kind and generous to mail it to me, and I've used it for different things, and I've played a lot around with it. The paper, this is the JIBUN Techo Biz, which is different than their normal one, so we'll go over that. Let's just get right into it. The big main difference, besides the fact that the Cousin has daily pages, is the paper that's used. The paper that's used is completely different in these books. Now, the JIBUN Techo, that is not the Biz one, is color. There is color on your weekly layout, and they, from what I have read and seen, they do not use the same paper. They actually use the Tomo River paper, the same paper that is used in the Hobonichi in that one. But in this, the Biz option, they use Mio paper, and I really should have looked up how to say that in Japanese because I might be saying it wrong. It's MIO. This paper is thicker. It has a really smooth fill, and I'm saying thicker than the Hobonichi. Hobonichi paper is almost like a Bible page. It takes all kinds of pen and watercolor and does not bleed through. So both of these papers are amazing in their own right, but they are completely different. Let me just show you a pen test to start out with. The pen test that I have for the Cousin is actually my Cousin from last year. I'm just going to show you the pen test because the paper has not changed. My Cousin for this year is the AVEC. That just means it's a January through June book and then a July through December book. It's the same book. It's just divided into two, so your year is thinner. And I go over all of this in my Hobonichi haul video. So if you're interested in the difference between the full Cousin all in one year, but this one has been thickened up a lot with a lot of stuff taped into the pages. If you're interested in the difference between this and this one, that is in my Hobonichi haul video. Here's the pen test on the 2 pages. So I wrote with basically the same type of pens. We have flare pens, Sharpie pens, gel pens, all the normal pens. The pen I didn't pick up and write with is the Hobonichi pen, which is a ballpoint pen, which I actually really love this pen that came with my order from the Hobonichi store. But you can buy these exact pens by Uniball on Amazon, I've heard, and Jetpens. What I love about this is that the minute you write with this on either paper, you can highlight or touch it and it does not smear. So I wasn't a big ballpoint pen person until this pen came along, and I talk a lot about that in my Hobonichi haul video also. But here's a pen test. So I wrote with all these pens. The Tomo River paper in the Hobonichi you have ghosting on everything. That's just something you have to accept. The paper is really lightweight. Nothing bleeds through, not even the fountain pen. So I did a fountain pen in here. There's your fountain pen. Nothing bleeds through, but everything shows through, or ghosts, as we say. So you have to be okay with that. And I'll show you pages when they're written on, all through here. This is the way your Hobonichi is going to look when it's written on. It's really easy to flip pages in the Hobonichi. Having these thin of pages is what allows you to have a complete year in a book with weekly, monthly, and daily layouts, and make it lightweight and portable. And this book was put through the ringer and absolutely nothing came apart on it. It holds up so well to everything you tape in it, everything you want to write in it. And so I used it for a little bit of planning, a little bit of journaling. I played all around with it. These are what the pages look like when they are filled up and filled in. So I just want to give you a sense of that. You can highlight, but I have found that most pens, the highlighter bleeds on this paper, except for a ballpoint pen. Even after you let them dry, I have found that most gel pens, they bleed when you highlight over them, unless it is a ballpoint pen. So that's what I found. These bright pens are the ERIN CONDREN dual tip markers, and I did do that on my pen test page also, right there. So that's what your pens look like in the Hobonichi Cousin. In the JIBUN TECHO, look, you can see there is hardly any show through ghosting. Your paper is just completely different. It's a little bit thicker, even though it still feels thin. It's a little bit thicker of a page, and it takes every kind of pen really well and does not show through. So I will show you some pages that I've written on in here to kind of compare and show you with the Cousin. You can see all these pages were written on, and you don't see much. So you get a lot of indentations in the Cousin when you're writing, because this paper is so thin, and they do sell pencil boards, which you can put behind the pages as you write. These are pencil boards, and it just helps you as you're writing, that you can put, behind a page, and then you won't have those indentions going into your next page, and you have something hard to write on right behind it instead of it indenting into your page. These are they're completely different paper. If you want a thicker paper that will not show through much, it takes highlighter much, much better, in my opinion, and it does not smear on this paper. So you can write with almost any pen on this paper, in the Biz one, on the Mio paper, and you can highlight right over it, and it does not smear. And I really loved that. I loved that feature. I love this paper. I love this paper better than the Hobonichi Tome River paper. But my problem is I don't love that it doesn't have daily pages for me, and I don't love the look of the weekly page as much as the Hobonichi. So let's go back into my new Hobonichi so I can kind of compare those pages for you. Here is a look at a week in each one of these books. So as you can see, they do both have a timeline. They both have a 24-hour timeline, but the Cousin is it's I call it a lighter of a layout. So it's more open to your interpretation. Like, let's say you wanted to not use your times at all, which I actually don't in my Hobonichi Cousin. I don't use my times, and I will be showing more how I use the Cousin because I just actually started using it for planning. I will show that in my planning updates video, which I do every quarter, and those are under my updates playlist. In my next one that will be coming near the end of March somewhere, or beginning of April for the first quarter, that's where you will see some up-close talk about how I'm using my Cousin. There's a little bit of that talk in the Hobonichi haul video, which is linked down below. But I do have a planning updates playlist, and that's where I give updates every quarter on how my planning's going and how my power sheets are going, which is a goal planner. If you look at this, you have a 24-hour layout in the JIBUN TECHO also, but they start you at 0 hour and count up. They are all on military time. It's just 0 hour starts down here in your Hobonichi Cousin. So they've ordered their time on their pages differently, but they are both a 24-hour time clock on military time. And if you'll look at the bubbles here, in the JIBUN TECHO biz, you'll see that the dark is, you know, like sleeping or dark hours at night that it will probably be dark. And then if you look down, it's light when it is light outside. So that's how they've done their page. I mean, I love the idea behind that. I really do. I just don't love the bubbles. Just personally, I just don't love the bubbles. I don't know what it is. Maybe I would like the A5 book better because it would be a little bit bigger. So if you look at the size of these B6 Slim and A5, let's look. They're the same height, the exact same height. You're just losing width on the page. So that is the only difference. This is half a year in your cousin, like I said, because it also has daily pages. This is your entire year in the JIBUN TECHO. This is your entire year. And like I said, if you want more color on your page, the JIBUN TECHO comes in with a colored page, but that is not the biz, and that has different paper. I haven't had it in my hands, but I've seen it listed as the Tome River paper that is the same in the Hobonichi. So let's go back to a weekly layout. And if you look at it, they both have a Monday start. Any Japanese holiday will be in red. So that week just happens to have a Japanese holiday. We'll go to a week that doesn't. So both of these weeks look the same. Any Japanese holiday in either one of these books is in red. And then other than that, every Saturday and Sunday, they've kind of taken the same stance. Sunday is red and Saturday is a blue. They're just, you know, they're a little bit different. They shade the entire page blue down here in the JIBUN TECHO, and they don't shade it all here. So your entire Sunday is shaded pink to match the red, and your entire Saturday is shaded blue, which just kind of offsets it from your work week. I don't mind that at all. I like how that's marked differently. I don't know, there's things I love about both books, but I definitely miss having the daily pages to take notes in this one. But the JIBUN TECHO, if you buy the whole system, it comes with two other little books. One's a life book and one, I forget what the other one's called, like a notes type of book. And they all fit in a slim little case. You can explore all that on Jetpens. They actually, jetpens.com, I will link it down below. They actually have videos on that and what the whole system looks like with the other two little books that comes with this. Honestly, I never thought I'd be falling in love with these Japanese planners just because they are so business, you know, office looking like, but I have fallen in love with the structure and function of these. Both of them have your monthly outlook right here, but the whole week is circled in the Hobonichi and the whole week is shaded in the JIBUN. It just tells you the month, of course, and then the year that you're on, but your month is written in. This one, even though it's a Japanese version, it seems a little bit easier to read as an American. They have the month written in here, which has nothing to do because obviously I know the 10th month is October, but I don't know. It feels a little bit like more like an American planner to me, I guess I should say that. They both do have the days of the week, but this one also has the Japanese character right there. And this one does not. Your columns are wider in here, but that's just because this is an A5. You can also get this in an A5. Like I said, the main difference is that this page is open. So you can draw a line like all the way across here. Like I was saying, I don't use the time slots. You could draw a line all the way across. And I just put my appointments or errands or anywhere I have to go for the day at the top. And I highlight them, and then the rest is just to do or if I need to remember things. But here, it's already divided kind of like by some different lines. They have a line at 7 a.m., they have a line at noon, they have a line at 6 p.m., which is 1800, and then they have a line at the end of your day at 2400 hours. So they've divided the page off for you, and there's just, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of lines, and these circles are really dark. And if you're not using the time, it just makes the page feel busy to me. That's just to me. It also makes the page feel busy because you have all these little guys down here, like to rate your mood for the day. So they give you a separate box where you could put dinner or you could put a gratitude, but you have your little mood for the day markers. You have your weather markers. You have a star down here. I don't mind these. These are their tick off boxes already drawn for you. Although I kind of like how there's nothing drawn for you here, so you can use this however you want. They have the weather drawn out for you at the top here. And so you can just circle what kind of weather it is for the day, and you could write the temperature in right here. But to me, that's a lot of room. I don't really want to circle what kind of weather it is every day because it makes my page busier, and they're like dictating for me, what I need to do in that top box when I might want to use it for something else. Does that make sense? I hope so. One nice thing is that the month is marked on every single page of the JIBUN TECHO. So you're like, oh yeah, I'm in that month. It's easy to tell. In the Cousin, you only have the month marked on every page in the daily pages. This is what your daily page looks like in the Cousin. You have a time slot here for 24 hours. You have a darker line here. You have some tick off boxes here. Your months change color every single month, and the whole page changes color. So like July is teal and the whole page is teal. August is like a bluish purple, navy, and the whole page, the grid and everything changes colors. And your September is brown. It all changes colors like that for every day. So you have your months, then your weeks, and then your days in the Cousin. You only have your months and your weeks in the JIBUN TECHO. Even though there is a lot of similarities, they are really very different in my eyes, not just because the paper is really different, but because of the layout of the week. The reason why I lean towards the Cousin for me, I love a lot about this book. I do. I really do. But because it's just open, the page is less busy, and it's not confining me of where my lines will be drawn. And I get to choose, if I just want one line dividing the page, no lines, a line dividing my appointments and errands, whatever I want, I get to choose. I also like that it's a little bit more open to decorate. Here's the one I'm using right now. And this is how my page looks. I've started to use some washi tape just to decorate each page, which just, makes me happy. I've used one color of highlighter per month and kept it consistent for the whole month. And that just adds a little bit of color to the page too. Here's what a page looks like when it's written on the next page, and where it kind of gets all bumpy with indentions. And for some reason, that just doesn't bother me in this book. It just makes it seem like a well-worn, beautiful, old type of book. So that's what it looks like when it's used. Let's take a look at the monthly layouts. And I will show you guys here. Here's a few daily layouts used, so you can see in my book right now. Here is where I did decorate a little bit in the JIBUN TECHO, so you can see how you can use their lines to put some washi tape and also brighten this book up. So there is a lot I like about this. The lines then are another guide for you, and they do give you those sections even if you don't want to draw a highlighter line or divide them off into sections. So there's different things about each book I like. They're both stellar books in my opinion, and I love that the JIBUN TECHO comes in the biz and then the not biz. So 2 different kinds of paper and color versus no color, and the different size options. And it comes with the other little booklets that can give you some notes pages and some life book pages. And like I said, go explore Jetpens. They have videos on all of that. Let's look at the monthly layout. So you can see I was playing around in this one, and I decorated the month of March. And here is the month of March in my Cousin. Here's the different look of the month. It's hard to tell with all the writing on it, so I think we'll flip 2 months that are blank, but I wanted to kind of show you what a month looks like when it's filled out and decorated in. I don't love that green highlighter color. I think it looks kind of drab, so it might be making you think, drab. Let's go. There's another month decorated in with a happier color. These are just ERIN CONDREN stickers from her seasonal, or she calls it her monthly sticker book, I believe. So there's what a few months look like decorated in each, and the difference of how they look. All right, I went back to the AVEC book that I haven't even gotten into yet that starts in July, and I'm going to show you the 2 months, both of them, none of them filled in at all, so you can take a really good look at what these look like. You have a note space on each side, but you do come with the tick boxes here. You have more note space at the bottom, but there is more space, of course, in the A5. And of course, you can go with the A5 in this one. There's a little bit of room down here with some tick boxes. You have your previous months and this month and your next month at a view glance calendars down here in the JIBUN TECHO. You have smaller boxes because this is a B6 Slim. But in every day of the month here, which I really don't like because once again, it makes me seem crowded and busier on my page, you have those 3 faces right there. And then you have a little Chinese writing next to them. and you stay with the Saturday, Sunday colors, but and they use kind of a big, box to outline the number of the day. So it just depends on really what you like the best. The number of the month is big up here in the corner. The Japanese holidays are in red, but this is how they look different done in red. So they color the day that way. So they do look a little bit different there, the way they do their holidays. And then the way the cousin does Saturday, Sunday is different from the JIBUN TECHO. As you can see, just the top is highlighted in the cousin and the whole box is shaded in the JIBUN TECHO. Both of them have really similar size grids to write on. It looks to me like the JIBUN TECHO is a little bit smaller, just a teeny bit, but I am pretty sure that is because it is the B6. And if you went with the A5, I'm wondering if their grid is going to match up exactly. I think their grid is a 3.7 millimeter, if I remember from my Hobonichi haul video. I will try to look that up and put that in the screen here. But that's a look at these two planners. The cousin doesn't come with a whole lot of extra pages to write in. There's just a few note pages in the back. There's a timetable, there's a graph paper, there's a favorites page, 12 boxes page, and a year chart, a gifts page, addresses, and then personal notes. Now, the JIBUN TECHO comes with some other extra pages. First of all, they give you an example of how you could fill out your week. This is really interesting in Japanese. And then they give you a full look at your 2019, 2018, 2020, and so does the cousin up front. The cousin gives you that also. Then they give you the entire year on one page in the JIBUN TECHO to kind of like you can mark down if your kids were sick, if you guys went to see a special movie. Saturday and Sundays are their colors, and every other weekday is white unless it's a Japanese holiday. But you have your whole year here at a glance in an index. It's pretty cool because you can use this in many different ways. This year index is cool. The cousin does their index a little bit different. You have a bigger space to write, and their year index is spread over 2 pages. But since this is the AVEC and this is the July through December, then they're giving you July through December, and then they're going ahead and giving you into 2020 because they want to give you pre-planning, like you could write appointments in here, that type of thing. Here's the cousin that's all in one book, and I filled out a lot of this. I would just put special events and things I wanted to remember. You start in January, and in 2 pages, you have your entire year. So that's pretty cool. I love this yearly index that can be used in just numerous ways. If you buy the cousin, that is your full year in a book. It's just you get your entire year in one book, and your index is right there. I do kind of miss that in the AVEC, having that, but I wanted to try the 2 smaller books this year. I'm not sure which one I prefer yet because I just started in the AVEC, so we will see. But they do give you that for your pre-planning, like I said, since you don't have your next book with you to be able to make your appointments, and then you go into the months in the cousin. After this yearly index in the JIBUN TECHO, you have an age chart, which I'm not really sure what that's for. You have a dream chart to fill in. You have a money plan chart to fill in for every single month of the year. Then you have a weekly plan. They give you a blank week for you to fill out, like an ideal week here. So you have a blank week to fill in your weekly plan, an ideal week. You have a map of Japan. That's where I did my pen test. You have a favorite phrases page. You have a recommendation list, which you could use for anything. You could use for restaurants, movies, books. But then you have a book list on the next page, which you could write books you want to read, or you could write books that you've already read. But they do have a little rating, a little face to rate them. You have a movie list here. These are all 2-page spreads. Gifts received and then gifts given. So you can tell the JIBUN TECHO comes with a lot of extra pages to keep like your entire life in here. And if you wanted to add these to your Hobonichi, you would have to use the few note pages at the back, like if you wanted to make a book list, a movie list, or you would have to use one of your daily pages and then just index it that way. I do actually think these lists are cool to have in here myself. Promise list, I am not sure what that is for, but it says promise list and then okay, a checkbox saying okay. Then you have some blank list pages. Then you have a really cool habit trackers. So you can label for each month. It's for every month of the year. So you can tell here's February, March, it goes all the way across the page and you can track many habits. There's like room for like 12 habits a month, I think. So that's a lot of habits to track in a month. And imagine if you could look over the whole year like this and see all your habits tracked. That is, I really do think that is pretty cool too. I think some of their extra pages in here are cool assets. Then here you go, you start into your monthly. The JIBUN TECHO comes with 2 ribbon page markers, which I think are so helpful to just already come with the book. The Hobonichi Techo does not come with any ribbon page markers. If you buy one of their cases, like you saw my case, if you buy one of the Hobonichi cases, then you do have 2 ribbon page markers that come in your case to go in your book. But your book does not come with those. So I think it's really nice that they come in the JIBUN Techo, and that the JIBUN Techo actually on like Jetpens comes with just a plastic case already with a little pocket on the outside. You can take a look at that. I think that's pretty cool. Both of them have sturdy covers, but the Hobonichi is a harder cardboard. This is a more bendable. The JIBUN Techo does come with a case on Jetpens. And then it goes into your months, and then it goes into all your weeks. And like I said, this is for the whole year, the calendar year. Then you have a few blank pages at the back here, a few blank graph grid pages. Then you have a looking back on 2019 in the JIBUN Techo, where basically you have 4 lines for every month. You can record something, whatever you want to keep track of each month. It could be good things, could be gratitudes, big things that happened in your family, and you have 2 pages worth of that. So for each month, you could like do 2 different categories type of thing. I really actually like those pages too, because it would probably prompt me and force me to fill these type of things in, which I would actually love to have for memory keeping at the end of the year. Whereas I'm not going to go do that in my Hobonichi. Then you have a personal data page you can fill out, and then that's the end of the biz. I'm really enamored with both books and playing with them, trying them out, and figuring out which one fits into my life better. Overall, I love both of these planners. I think they both are amazing. They're different, and I love them both. The JIBUN Techo, I forgot to mention, has rounded corners here, and the Hobonichi Cousin does not, has square corners. The Hobonichi Cousin has all these quotes on every single daily page in Japanese. I would love to hear your thoughts below on these 2 books, the Hobonichi Cousin and the JIBUN Techo, if you've used either of them, if you're considering using them. I would love to hear those thoughts down below. If you're really interested in Hobonichi, I would check out my Hobonichi haul video where I run through the Cousin, the weeks, and the A6 original Hobonichi. That video is linked down in the description box. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy planning, and we'll see you next time.